It's almost impossible to look at the Miami Heat's situation heading into the 2025-26 NBA season and feel as if Pat Riley has put them in a position to succeed. In fact, considering they find themselves stuck in NBA mediocrity, which could end up being for the foreseeable future, the argument could be made that Riley has put the team in the worst possible position it could be in. The Heat's identity is somewhat of an unknown. They have two expensive all-star players who may not be good enough to operate as the team's number one or two options and are not considered a serious contender. Even if a perfect situation were to play out the season for the Heat, they'd be, at best, a middling playoff team in the Eastern Conference with virtually no path toward real postseason glory. To make matters even more bleak heading into the future, the team has a monstrous decision to make on Tyler Herro, who is eligible for a contract extension on October 1st. It's a decision that may not have a clear right answer. The Heat are in a lose-lose situation. If the Heat were to give Herro the extension he's likely seeking, the team would be in a bad salary cap situation, locked into a team with a limited ceiling and no real shot to win an NBA championship as currently constructed. If the Heat were to pass on giving Herro an extension, they'd be forced to trade Herro for pennies on the dollar or be in grave danger of losing him for nothing next summer. Again, the Heat are not in a very enviable situation, and Riley has been the puppet master behind it all. After all, it was Riley who largely should get the blame for running Jimmy Butler out of town. It's Riley who made that decision without having a clear plan B ready to go and in place. The Heat's main decision-makers very much operate in more of a collective now, but Riley is largely the face of it all. If he gets the credit when the Heat are successful, he also deserves the blame when it's due. Right now, the Heat are in a difficult spot, but that doesn't mean they can't work their way out of it. They've done it time and time before, and that's partly what has helped make Riley a Hall of Fame-worthy executive over the last few decades in Miami. The question is, can he work his magic once again? Before it's too late? As the start of training camp quickly approaches, that's one of the bigger questions for the Heat and Riley. Sometimes, all it takes is one small adjustment for a team to turn things around. The Miami Heat are hoping that to be the case for them this upcoming season, especially on the offensive end of the floor. And Nikola Jovic may have just revealed what that small change might be. All throughout Media Day, schematic changes were the theme. It began with Eric Spoelstra and was hinted at by various players. But it was Jovic who made it clear and concise. The Heat intend, or need, to play fast this season. Nikola Jovic with the theme of the day. We got to play fast. This is not exactly splitting the atom, but it would be quite the change for the Heat if this were, in fact, something that was prioritized heading into the start of training camp. It would be a stark pivot from what has become the norm for the Heat over the last few years. The Heat have notoriously struggled with pace. Over the past 5 seasons, the Heat have been a bottom 5 team in the league in pace. Even when their offense has been good, they've never been considered a team that has played fast, and the stats back that up. The last time the Heat were even just average compared to the rest of the NBA in pace was the 2011-12 season. Sure, LeBron James and Dwayne Wade may not be walking through that door, but the Heat do have the young, spry legs to pick up the pace heading into this season. And if the Heat are intending to lean more into their young core, playing at a faster pace is what is going to give them an edge over their opponents. If it's not necessarily going to come from a talent discrepancy, the Heat will have to play at a much faster pace than they've been accustomed to in the past. Can the Heat solve their offensive woes? I wouldn't go all the way to suggest that the Heat's offensive woes are going to be completely solved by playing faster, but it can't hurt. Mathematically, if the Heat have more offensive possessions, they're going to naturally have a better chance to be more productive on that end of the floor. It's certainly not ideal that the Heat will have to start the season without their best defensive player, with Tyler Herro being sidelined for at least the first month of the year, and without their best three-point shooter from last season, as Duncan Robinson was shipped off this summer via sign-in trade, but there are ways to offset those losses. And the hope is that SPO can address those concerns with a slightly altered offensive scheme. If the theme of Media Day was any indication, that may all start with the team playing faster on the offensive end of the floor. If so, it'd certainly be a breath of fresh air for Heat fans. Houston Rockets' new signing for the 2025-26 season, Kevin Durant, has undergone surgery on his left thumb, according to journalist Chris Baldwin. The procedure is considered straightforward, and the experienced winger will have no problems starting the following season. He experienced pain in his left hand during the previous season, while still playing for the Phoenix Suns. Despite some physical issues, the 36-year-old remains one of the best in the league, averaging 26.6 points, 6.0 rebounds, and 4.2 assists in 62 games. The former Golden State Warriors player has decided to join Alperen Sengun and Amen Thompson's Rockets, a young, rising team that finished second in the Western Conference in 2024-25, trailing only the champion Oklahoma City Thunder. With the addition of the star, the Texas team is expected to be one of the title favorites. Wembanyama speaks out about Durant. Durant's departure from the Suns was a certainty at the start of this year's NBA transfer window. As a result, he was linked to several franchises, including the San Antonio Spurs. In a statement to French newspaper L'Equipe, Victor Wembanyama spoke about the matter. "I don't think we should have done crazy things to get the experienced player. Swapping your entire core for a single player rarely works. And Spurs are masters at building squads without sacrificing group balance," argued the France pivot. In addition to Wemby, who has recovered from deep vein thrombosis, the Spurs boast other outstanding young players, including Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, and Devin Vassell. It's worth noting that the franchise made history in the late 1990s by drafting promising youngsters like Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker, winning 5 titles between 1999 and 2014. LeBron James to the Miami Heat? A 2-time champion with the Miami Heat in 2012 and 2013, LeBron is being linked to the Florida team. With behind-the-scenes issues with the Los Angeles Lakers, the 40-year-old star may have a new destination soon, although nothing has been finalized at this time. Former Heat legend Udonis Haslem argued that the Los Angeles team isn't ready to be champions right now and suggested the Miami franchise. "I know a place where LeBron James is welcome and always will be. I'm just leaving that up in the air," he commented on NBA Today. The Cleveland Cavaliers, Dallas Mavericks, and Golden State Warriors are some of the possibilities in the market, but the Los Angeles Clippers and Miami Heat may have an advantage by being able to offer expiring player contracts to the Lakers.